Now, the health department had a press release on Friday, press
conference.
Press conference. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And so I went.
You did.
As a reporter.
I love this so much.
Yeah, because it was recommended to us. Hey, they're having a press conference. You guys should go and represent Beck News. I'm like,
oh wow.
Come on.
That's
all
great.
of these months I could have been at Bergam's pressers and asked the questions that none of the mainstream media wants to ask because they're not apparently doing their homework or they're not interested.
Yeah.
So I jumped on the idea. I had my little
press credentials.
Yep. And so then it was time for questions. Well, there's video, and so yeah. So here, let's roll the video.
Yes.
Yes, Rick Becker with Beck News. Couple questions for you. Today, Dr. Fauci came out and indicated that there was a 64% increased likelihood of death with the 117 variant. And you indicated, or maybe Dr. Hofstetter indicated, a 50% increase in transmissibility, which we've known for a while. But as recently as last month, it was believed that the severity of disease and the likelihood of death was no greater than the original COVID. That's pretty dramatic. Are you taking any steps? What's your reaction to Dr. Fauci's announcement today?
Well, I think that's the first time I've heard the official announcement, so you're the first one who's sharing that with me. So I haven't seen anything official from CDC, but I do know that they had suspected that, from some of the work that was done over in the United Kingdom, that this could have a more severe outcome, a higher probability of a more severe outcome. And so I think that's still another message. I think the good news is that, again, the UK variant there's a very high level of protection that can be offered from vaccination, and I think that's the good news. So I think it's just important that we continue to take precautions because this variant is more transmissible, and it's the most popular or most common variant that's found in the United States. And so I think it's just emphasizes again the importance of taking precautions.
And, the B1351, the South African variant, that's currently present in 23 states, not North Dakota yet, but in several close states as well. The Moderna and Pfizer vaccines are not very effective against that variant. The Janssen or Johnson & Johnson vaccine, I believe Dr. Hofstetter said there was a study with 100%. I think that was for deaths after 28 days. Another part of that same study and other studies indicate 52 to 57% effective, only that much effective against moderate to severe disease in general. So I think the jury is definitely out on Janssen with regard to South African, but not with the other two. That's just not effective. Now, Moderna and Pfizer are announcing that they're going to be coming out with boosters to add on to the 2 shots that they're currently recommending. Are there discussions in getting in line and being prepared to accept booster doses when they're ready to accommodate these variants?
I think that's something that we have talked about, is that there's a possibility that boosters may be necessary for variants as they emerge, just depending on the nature of the variant. But we do know that at least the vaccines that we have, they do provide some protection, and as Dr. Hofstetter said, that there's some protection that's provided against serious disease that results in hospitalization and death. So.
Well done, reporter Rick.
That was so fun.
That was super cool.
I got to tell you, I had a blast because all of this time, for at least now the full year, whenever there's pressers, I'm screaming. It's like, why is nobody asking a good question? Why is nobody asking a hard-hitting question? Why is nobody pressing for more answers? And so,
well, that's because
Rick
journalism.
Becker with Beck News.
Right. Well, journalism used to be dead, but not so much anymore because now they're going to get some tough questions.
Yeah. So enough with the tooting my own horn. Mainly, I just had fun. But let's talk briefly on these variants. So what we're talking about is variants of SARS-CoV-2, the COVID virus. Right. There are variants, and a variant is like basically a full different but related disease. And there are mutations. A mutation is a very specific part that makes it different, and if it's significant enough, it becomes a new variant. So there is a variant in the United Kingdom, B117. And this is really interesting because as I said there, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have been found to be very, very effective against that. And we have those cases in North Dakota, and they are prevalent all throughout the United States. However, there's a new mutation called E484K, which now they're finding that the variant from the UK is having the mutation, and they're finding that the Pfizer Moderna vaccines maybe aren't going to be as good, and they need to update their vaccine to be able to make it work.
And the J&J one was terrible on the first variant, wasn't it? It was like 57%.
Yeah, 57, 52 as far as severe
lame.
disease, but
Right.
yet part of the study said it was good for preventing death. It's really, really difficult to say. What I found interesting there, the point I brought up was huge, and I don't understand how no reporters and nobody at the Department of Health knew about it. Dr. Fauci had come out earlier that day and had said that the UK, the British variant, which we have in North Dakota, which is all around, which we've been told the vaccine's going to work fine for, and nothing to worry about. It has increased transmissibility, so it's more contagious, 50% increased transmissibility. We've been told all along, up through last month, it's not any worse though. Now, Fauci on Friday, before this press conference, said that there's a 64% increase in death from the 117 variant. And we don't know if he's talking about the E484K mutation, which makes it so that your immune system can't work as good, so the death might be even more. And they don't have vaccines for it. So this is driving me nuts. We just don't know what's going on, and we don't know what will go on.
I found it very interesting when the word booster came up, because I'm like, okay, all right, first it's the vaccine, now we have to add the boosters to it too.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm not trying to present evidence so that people don't go out and get vaccinated, but I do think it's important to know what's what. The vaccine works now for what is coming at us now, and it may or may not in the future.
And you have been very predictive on this already. I recall you already talking about this subject, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, I think we talked about it on 2 occasions.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can see a little clip of something he said previously.
The question on all these vaccines too is, does it work for the mutations?
Right.
The Pfizer vaccine seems to work pretty good for the Great Britain mutation. So not so sure about the South African mutation. And it is a messenger RNA, mRNA vaccine. And I'll talk about that in a second. Moderna is very much the same. It's an mRNA vaccine. It has 86 to 94% efficacy. The mutations, both Great Britain and South Africa, a little iffy. It's 2 shots. They're 4 weeks apart. This one is a little bit more user-friendly because it doesn't need to be in such cold temperatures.
Right.
It needs to be refrigerated.
Right.
So both of these vaccines are a new type of vaccine.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah. Well, and we had talked about that. I'm not sure the date on that, but we had talked a couple of times, I think in January, then again in March. And it makes sense. And the thing is, what I point out there is we don't know, despite the news reports coming out, oh yeah, the vaccines are going to be good for all of them. What I want to relay to our viewers is you can't just trust that. When the headline comes out, it's not based on anything. So much of what has come out over the past year on COVID has been baloney. They say science, 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 and if you question it, they say, well, you're anti-science. But they keep on being wrong because it's not science. It's just something that they're throwing out. And remember, folks, as we've gone through many times, science is the process that you question a hypothesis and find it to be true or untrue. It's the process. So questioning these ridiculous headlines is actually science.
End of rant. He's not wrong.
All right.
All right.
We're going to be back with Representative Matt Ruby. We're going to be talking about the pension plan for North Dakota. Hang in there.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work. Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Arrow Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Life changes, so what's on your horizon? Horizon Financial Bank has been helping North Dakotans with financial goals since 1905. And now we're here to serve you in Bismarck. We're North Dakota proud, and being from North Dakota means something. A bank with small-town roots. We've crossed many horizons, and now we're here to help you cross yours. We're Horizon Financial Bank for the changes on your horizon.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. We are here with Representative Matt Ruby, District 40, Minot. Welcome aboard. I can't believe we haven't had you on yet.
I was waiting for my invite.
Were you really?
Yeah. It's like, why am I not on?
It took me a while to find someone that could gild it in gold and get it mailed to you that way. So thanks for being on. So what we are talking about with Representative Ruby is the pension plan, and what that means is the retirement plan for public employees. And it's an issue. It's a big issue because of the aspect of it being a defined benefit plan. So Matt, I'm going to let you explain to the viewers defined benefit versus defined contribution and why it's a problem.
Yeah, so defined benefit is essentially a pension. We tell the employee statutorily what they need to put in, and then the state has a rate that they put in as well, and as long as that matches what needs to be that level to fund the fund, it works out just fine. We haven't been at that since 2006, I think. So we've just got this vast increase of unfunded liability to something to the 1.5 billion. A defined contribution is more like an IRA. The state will do a match or whatever, but better rates of return, stuff like that. Usually you get a better, a little more risk, but usually a better retirement. So right now like I said, we have 1.5 billion in unfunded liability, and there's been, I think we had 3 bills that came out of the interim that was 3 different stabs at trying to address the issue.
Mm-hmm. And so the crux of the matter is that 1.5 billion unfunded liability. So folks, what that means is that we're on the hook right now for $1.5 billion more than what the money is available. And that's ongoing. That doesn't mean like right in the pot now. That means ongoing. And the issue is that the defined benefit, again, just means like you put in this much and then you are guaranteed you're going to get this much every year, as opposed to defined contribution. It's like a 401k or an IRA where you put in see what the market does, and that's what you get back. It can be great, but in down years it can be bad. The problem when public employees are on defined benefit is in the years when it's bad, when everyone else is suffering, that's when they have to kick in so much more to pay for the public employees that are on defined benefit. So it's kind of a double whammy for everyone in the state who's not a public employee on a defined benefit contribution. So the issue has been ongoing for many years. In 2011, they came very close to passing in the House to convert public employees, future public employees, to go to defined contribution. What do you see happening right now? You have a bill, and let's flip it up for just a couple of moments. You have a House Bill 1209, and just tell us a little bit about that. It obviously, I guess, changed, and so why don't you let us know?
Yep, so I brought 1209 as it's a concept called ADEC funding. ADEC stands for Actuarial Determined Employer Contribution Rate. And so what we did is we set a 20-year period of when we wanted to have this paid off by, and that ADEC said we needed 21% of the salary to be invested into this fund, and then over 20 years we'd pay it off. And initially I just left it at the employees will stay at the same 6 or 7% investment rate or contribution rate, and then the state just picks up the rest. And it's really not the employee's fault that we're not hitting that level. We're the ones that set Century Code, and so it's not on them. I didn't want to just have a huge increase on them that really wipes out their pay increase that they're discussing right now. So that was the bill as it was. There was some. We kind of saw that as a step one, take care of our debt now, that pay our bill essentially, and then step two would have been developing a defined contribution plan, and that's really what the discussion in committee went around. And so there was discussions about using CARES dollars to just fund it down and switch to a DC plan, and they just put it into a study to get it through the Senate until we figured out what that dollar amount was going to be. And of course, they built into the CARES dollars that you can't use it for pension. So there's a view, or they're considering a couple different options on how to make that work. But really, we just there's about 3 different groups that are kind of trying to come up with some sort of a fix to the issue.
Yeah, there definitely are, and I think it's going to be very, very important. And ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about here, this unfunded liability, if we are putting a bunch of money toward converting people to defined contribution and essentially reforming the retirement plan for state employees, that's not something that you're going to see direct benefit. But what's going to happen is that your grandchildren will see direct benefit. And this is something that we should be doing. We talk about legacy, legacy, legacy. If there's anything legacy, it's going to be trying to make a better world for the next generations. And pushing this unfunded liability, in other words, this sort of growing debt, is exactly what we should be attempting to do at this time. Matt, in 2011, the cost for this was less than half of the $1.5 billion it is now. And it's going to continue to grow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, I can't remember what the rate is, but that's really why we brought so many different ideas on how to address it. Mike LaFleur from Dickinson had one. He's the chairman of the Employee Benefits Committee. I had one, and then I think there was one that was entered on the Senate side, and it's just, it's time to stop kicking this down, because it's just like any infrastructure project, the longer you drag it out, the worse it gets. And that's really where we're at right now, is we just got to find a way to kind of bite the bullet. It's a heavy lift, fully understand that, but it's a little bit less if we pay for it now.
Yeah. And one thing I think that's good to mention is that we are not penalizing the state employees. Mm-hmm. The reason it's expensive, the reason we're talking about moving money, is to make sure that the state employees are kept whole, that the state is keeping its promise to the state employees, because we entered a contract. We want to honor that, but we also don't want to put future generations at this risk of a huge, huge financial liability. So I think that's critical, and I know that that's very important to you, to not penalize state employees, as it should be, and as it is for me as well. And so it's very important to recognize that as well. Where do you think, I mean, we had an interesting meeting today with the Republicans in caucus and talking about some of the federal money coming in and where we're at with the overall revenue forecast, and looking at some extra money. And of course, this is going to be one of the things, are we going to tackle this problem now that we have the opportunity? Where do you see it going from here?
You know, the Senate Majority Leader and the House Majority Leader really need to sit down and figure out what they're willing to invest into this. And even then, we're going to have to switch to a different sort of funding and push into a DC plan. And the way we're doing that is, like you just said, is you hold the current state employees, hold them harmless, and keep that DB plan open for them. All new employees should probably go to a DC plan, and then we just amortize the DB plan out. 30 years probably is where I think kind of gets your best bang for your buck. You can certainly go shorter, but I think at 30 years, and then depending on what you're going to do for an influx of or infusion of cash, you know, you're still going to be paying anywhere to 60 million probably a year. But again, it's just one of those things that's going to keep growing. So that's what we're talking about when we say that it's a heavy lift. It's a lot of money to be putting in, but it pays for itself in the long run.
Have you gotten a lot of pushback?
Lots of ideas out there. I'm not saying anybody's
Very
ever
diplomatically said. Well done.
I won't say that I've had anybody say, no, that's a stupid reason. There's certain people that or groups that don't like a DC plan, that would rather stay in a DB.
Right.
But I can't say that anybody's just shut the door. Everyone's willing to talk and try to come up with some sort of a plan.
Well, that's good news.
So we'll see how when
the study comes back.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to it, we'll see where the lines are drawn. But so far, it's been a pretty good dialogue.
Good for you.
Yeah, we have a great opportunity with the we'll call it the federal COVID money that is coming in, and as you mentioned, I think some people are saying, well, we can't spend it on this, but the thing is, money is fungible. If you can spend it on something else, and then the money we're going to spend on that something else can come over and pay for this. And what we can do is get just a little tiny pinch right now and save a huge amount of pain for people 20, 30, and years and beyond. So I think it's the right thing to do. If we don't do this, then I'm not sure what we can stand on over these last 10 years with all of this oil money. Yeah. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for coming in today. All right. When we come back, we'll have another guest with us. Now you can do that.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Life changes, so what's on your horizon? Horizon Financial Bank has been helping North Dakotans with financial goals since 1905. And now we're here to serve you in Bismarck. We're North Dakota proud, and being from North Dakota means something. A bank with small-town roots. We've crossed many horizons, and now we're here to help you cross yours. We're Horizon Financial Bank for the changes on your horizon.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Arrow Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hey, welcome back. No apologies on Beck. Your After Hours Oasis of Sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker. Our co-host, Lori Hintz, over in the
Still here.
Seafoam Green. And we have a special guest with us, Mr. Troy Coons.
Now, he is the chairman of the Northwest Landowners Association.
Correct.
Yes.
All right. Very, very good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. So you are here to talk about, I think, a topic that's difficult to understand if you've not been made aware of it in the past. And we had this topic come up last session. Prior to that, I had never heard of such a thing. It's called pore space, right?
P-O-R-E.
Yes, P-O-R-E.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, Troy, if you would, for the sake of our viewers, give us a rundown. What is pore space? What is the bill at hand? And what is the concern?
Pore space from the surface of the earth and down is the voids between the granulars of soil or within the rock. It's the voids, the open air areas. And so that's what that is. And it's something that wasn't talked about much in the past. Last session, it was brought forward in SB 2344. We worked very hard to educate everyone on it. It's a very complex topic, and we thank you for your vote with us last session on that. The bill did pass. What the bill did was change the definition of land in North Dakota and took away the right of a property owner to sue for trespass or tort, which is the way you protect your property. When that passed, we chose to sue the state of North Dakota over that. Continental Oil intervened. We went to district court, and just a couple months ago, we won that lawsuit with a very strong opinion from the judge.
Wow. Yeah. So, well, so what was the contention in that lawsuit?
What's the issue?
Well, the issue was that
Remember, you're deep in this rabbit hole,
Right.
and we're only
We're all
2
new.
feet deep, and our viewers are probably only 2 inches deep. So lay it out.
So our biggest contention was when you buy property and you look to the sky and the core of the earth, when you buy that, that's what you own.
Right.
You know, there is the right of separation of minerals in this state. The energy industry wanted to believe that the pore space was not the surface owners, and that was the question at hand, and that they took away our right to sue for trespass or tort, and that was unconstitutional taking.
So let me put this in layman's terms if I'm getting you right. They thought that just the surface was the landowners and the pore space below did not even belong to them?
Correct, in a simple term.
And so the mineral owners own the minerals or the oil, or gas or what have you, but the pore space, the area, the interstices, the area between the rocks and what have you underground, became important because of the desire for putting stuff back in. And the argument is, you're saying that space is a space, and that should belong to the landowner. And the other side of the argument is that does not belong to the landowner. The space belongs to who? The mineral rights owner?
That's what they were trying to
Right.
say. And since statehood, it's been part of the surface estate, and it was reaffirmed with this lawsuit that it is.
Okay. So then what's the problem? We've got Senate Bill 2065 right now. What's going on? It sounds like you're winning all day. You're like Trump. We're getting tired of winning.
Not getting tired of winning, are you?
So tell us what's the problem with 2065?
It's a different bill trying to accomplish similar goals but different. It's a different coat on the same problem. This was brought forward by the Industrial Commission, which is Ag Commissioner, Attorney General, and our Governor, through the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. This bill is another way of them to deal with pore space and put it under the purview of the Industrial Commission and DMR. And with that, the bill that was introduced was a very small bill. From there, it's been amended a multitude of times. And with this, again, one of our biggest concerns is them not giving us access to a jury of our peers. And that would be so we could have those protections.
Okay. Interesting. And so what kind of feedback are you getting on this from legislators?
Today, people are asking questions constantly. Thought this was decided. Why are we doing this again? Many, many questions that way. Yes. We are right now in subcommittee in the House Energy and Natural Resources with Representative Kaiser, which is giving us a lot of time to explain things. And we'll be meeting again tomorrow. So there's a multitude of concerns there. The one is our access to district court, to our peers, which is a constitutional right. So we need to clear that up. There's also the question on percentages of, they call it amalgamation, or you could call it pooling, or you could call it taking. All the same thing, there's an exemption in this, which would allow the director of the Department of Mineral Resources to exempt certain things from statute, which we don't feel is constitutional as well. Also, we have liability concerns on the construction process and such to protect the property owners. We also have, they're not calling it temporary abandoned status, but it would be similar when the project has a pause or ends, that we would not be able to request a review of that for 10 years. We feel we should be able to ask that right away, have a review to understand what's happening on our property.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
You definitely have to defend the landowners, because it sounds like people are trying to grab all of your rights, to me.
In my opinion, this is one of the single largest things in energy development in the world. It's not just here. We are precedent setting, so we got to get this right. The surface owners pay a large price for the energy development and doesn't get much compensation. Here's an opportunity. You know, I can't imagine why we'd want to step on the people that have been building the state since statehood.
There's always two sides to an argument.
Correct.
What, in your fairest sense, is the argument of the opposing side?
They believe that in 2009 with the Mosser case and this current lawsuit that they got it wrong. They feel they need the pore space and they shouldn't have to pay for it, and that would help advance the energy development in the state.
But what's their argument for why they shouldn't have to pay for it, or why it's already theirs? What's that argument? Again, I'm asking you to put your opposing hat on.
I think because 2009 and prior, they've been disposing into the pore space, and they had one assumption that wasn't accurate, and with that lawsuit, it proved that our belief was accurate. So that was where their mindset's been for 50 years.
Okay, so their costs are going to go up, right?
Yes.
If the pore space that they've been using to fill with wastewater, waste whatever, CO2, whatever, that's going to cause costs to go up, and that would be their primary concern. Is that correct?
In the past, they disposed of saltwater brine, and they did pay like 10 cents a barrel. So they are accustomed to paying for that.
Okay.
Lynn Helms has quoted that, you know, he didn't see it that it was economically viable to pay for this. That was mentioned last session. We would disagree with that, that it is.
Excellent.
Very good.
Well,
I appreciate you talking about pore space. Now, see, you're learning something.
totally new topic. All right. So, Troy, thank you very much for being on. We appreciate having you and informing our viewers. Thanks again. Folks, we are going to be back. Next up is brain food nourishment for your noggin.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Life changes, so what's on your horizon? Horizon Financial Bank has been helping North Dakotans with financial goals since 1905. And now we're here to serve you in Bismarck. We're North Dakota proud, and being from North Dakota means something. A bank with small town roots. We've crossed many horizons, and now we're here to help you cross yours. We're Horizon Financial Bank for the changes on your horizon.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and it's time for Brain
Food. Yeah, we're going to have to do some sort of we have to do an intro for that.
We need an intro.
That's all there is to it. You know, we need a really cool intro. Maybe one of our viewers is really, really good with stuff like that, and they can send it. Maybe that should be a contest. We can go do a brain food intro for this. My first word today is, I'm just desperate.
Wait, I gotta have a word for you for next
do?
week or something, tomorrow, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I just got an idea for an image.
Okay.
Okay, because first I was thinking like,
Brain.
oh yeah, we could have brain, and then whoo, it becomes like a rainbow brain.
Oh yes.
But there is. Do you know what a homunculus is?
I think I've heard that word before.
We should have an image of a homunculus come up. So that's a word for you if you want to use it, because I love homunculus.
I'm writing it down right now.
Okay.
Okay, so my first one is maelstrom today. And maelstrom is a noun. It is a powerful, often violent whirlpool sucking in objects within a given radius. Tried to shoot the canoe across the stretch of treacherous maelstrom is the sentence that you would use. Something resembling a maelstrom in turbulence, maelstrom enveloping the country, a maelstrom of emotion, something like a vortex. So that's very cool. That is one of the synonyms for it. Whirlpool, vortex, gulf. Maelstrom comes from an early Dutch proper noun that literally meant turning stream, like churning, like turning stream. The original maelstrom is a channel that is a dangerous tidal current located off the northwest coast of Norway.
Interesting.
A maelstrom.
I'm a little triggered because of the insinuation of a binary norm gender with maelstrom, and
Alrighty. Yeah, sorry about that.
should be female strum.
Should be female maelstrom. Okay, I concur.
All right.
Anyway, a maelstrom. She was caught in a maelstrom of emotions. The ship was drawn into the maelstrom. The first known use, 1659. Okay.
All right, sounds good. So I've got Mr. Big Nose, which I teased at the beginning of the show.
That does not sound like a very kind
Big
thing
Nose.
to say about
There's a
somebody.
famous person, Big Nose Kate, in
Okay.
Old Western history.
Okay.
But this is Big Nose George Parrott. Let's show his picture. Big Nose George Parrott. Now, I mean, I guess he has a big nose,
Kinda.
but they were less worried about people's feelings back in the 1800s, I think.
True.
I could be wrong.
True.
But there is Big Nose George Parrott. So
There is a story here, I have no doubt.
Yes, George Parrott was a gangster in the Old West. And in 1878, he killed a sheriff's deputy in Wyoming and a federal detective.
Wow.
Yes, they were trying to do a train robbery, and they botched it. And then these guys came in to get them, and they killed them.
Wow.
So
was he part of a gang then?
Yeah,
Okay.
he had a gang. So he went to Montana, and then he was captured in Montana, brought back to Wyoming. He was convicted of murder. He was sentenced to hang to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was not fond of that, and he tried to break out. And in the process, he assaulted, although didn't kill, the jailer.
Okay.
The people of the town in Wyoming were like, "Are you kidding me?" And so they got a rope and they lynched him.
Whoa.
Yes. And in the town, there was this Dr. Osborne. So Dr. Osborne decided to do an autopsy. And he looked at Big Nose George Parrott's brain to see if there was some answer for his criminality, of which, as far as I'm aware, he did not find any.
Okay.
However, to get to his brain, he cut the skull cap off.
Okay.
And he offered it as kind of a memento to his medical assistant, who then used it as an ashtray. So his skull cap was used as an ashtray, yes. Also, for some unknown reason, Dr. Osborne had him skinned, at least partially skinned. Yes.
Okay.
What is that?
That's
not
barbaric.
Is that unusual?
Yeah, that's unusual and
Okay.
barbaric, but thank you for that.
So, and he had the skin sent to a tannery, and had a medical bag and shoes.
Oh, come on.
Shoes made out of Big Nose George Parrott's skin. Yes, he did.
No, that's
Dr. Lori, do not
Don't doubt me,
contest.
Mary.
Yes. Dr. Osborne then became governor of Wyoming. And what do you suppose he wore on his feet at the inauguration ball? He wore Big Nose George Parrott on his feet.
Terrible.
Yes.
That is disgusting.
Isn't that awesome?
That's a crazy
And
story.
also, it should be known that it was actually on this day that his shoes were made. I mean, the shoes were made out of his skin. So.
Wow, that's a hideous story. Thank you for that
awesome,
visual.
yeah.
That's great. All right. Wow. Okay, let's just go to my word now. This word is prevaricate, which is a verb. Prevaricate means to deviate from the truth.
Yes.
And there are a lot of synonyms for this one. Equivocate, lie, palter, fib, prevaricate. It means to tell an untruth. Lie is the blunt term, imputing dishonesty. Lied about where he had been. Prevaricate softens the bluntness of lie. So if you ever need to use a word, and it's like little white lie, you could say, well, they were just prevaricating. Right? It was, I will just prevaricate. And synonyms, lie and equivocate, all refer to playing fast and loose with the truth. Lie is the bluntest of the three, of course. Equivocate is similar to prevaricate, but it generally implies that someone is deliberately using words. Mm-hmm. You've all heard it, right? Words that have more than one meaning as a way to conceal the truth. Examples in a sentence would be government officials prevaricated about the real costs of the project. That never happens in the legislature. During the hearings, the witness was willing to prevaricate in order to protect his friend. And the first known use of prevaricate was circa 1625. The history of it is Latin prevaricatus, past participle. I can try to say this. Prevaricarari, to act in collusion, literally to straddle, is where that comes from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. My next little bit of brain food
that
is...
last one is, I'm sorry.
You can't top it.
I
You
know,
just
right?
can't-
I'm like...
Can't top this.
You can't. All right.
Eisenstadt versus Baird. Show the graphic.
Okay.
This is a brief one. Birth control law of state nullified. All right. So this is March 22nd, this day in 1972 in Massachusetts. They had a law that, well, they had several laws, but it was crimes against chastity.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And it was against the law for anyone but a doctor or a pharmacist to give out birth control. And even the doctor or pharmacist could only give out birth control to a married person or a married couple.
Interesting. Wow, 1972
So this,
even.
this William Baird, who was a contraception or whatever advocate, handed a 19-year-old on purpose to get this going some contraceptive foam and some condoms at Boston University. He was arrested for a felony, served 3 months in jail. It went up through the courts. Went to the Supreme Court, and there were 2 justices who were not yet confirmed, and so on a 6-to-1 vote, they said, yeah, this is not going to work under the Equal Protection Clause because you can't have something. It's interesting. I think it's really interesting because they did say in their opinions that the state, Massachusetts, any state, could have laws against sex if you're not married.
Right, and
but
that's
you couldn't,
not uncommon.
But you couldn't say that a married couple can have contraception, but an unmarried couple couldn't. So it's kind of interesting. It's under the Equal Protection Clause.
That was pre-Roe v. Wade, because that was in 73.
Yes. Yep. And this weird, to me, sort of ruling was actually a foundation for so many additional rulings and opinions. It has been between, I don't even know, since 2002, but between 72 and 2002, it was in 52 Supreme Court rulings where they cited it.
As a precedent.
In every single, all 50 states, their Supreme Court rulings have cited it. Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, all 11 district court rulings. And what they frequently refer to is William Brennan, Justice Brennan, had a quote, "If the right of privacy means anything, it is the right of the individual, married or single, to be free of unwarranted government intrusion into matters so fundamentally affecting a person as the decision whether to bear or beget a child."
Wow, interesting.
And so something as little as that then had so big ramifications
very,
on
very cool
so
stuff.
much sodomy
Very
laws,
neat.
et cetera.
So what was the name of the case again?
Eisenstadt versus Baird.
We'll have to remember that. Well,
All
thank you very much.
Brain food.
Okay.
Come back. We're going to be talking about an executive order, JR's EOs.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Life changes, so what's on your horizon? Horizon Financial Bank has been helping North Dakotans with financial goals since 1905. And now we're here to serve you in Bismarck. We're North Dakota proud, and being from North Dakota means something. A bank with small town roots. We've crossed many horizons, and now we're here to help you cross yours. We're Horizon Financial Bank for the changes on your horizon.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
All right. You guys made it. It's the 5th segment. We are almost done. Congratulations again. I always like to give a pat on the back to those of you who have stuck with us through this entire hour.
Way to take one for the team. So we're finishing up with the Biden's executive order again, and this time we're doing number 43. This one deals with illegal immigration. Let's take a look at what it says. This one says, Executive Order on Restoring Faith in Our Legal Immigration Systems and Strengthening Integration and Inclusion Efforts for New Americans, because we need to include them, apparently. It is essential to ensure that our laws and policies encourage full participation by immigrants, including refugees, in our civic life, that immigration processes and other benefits are delivered effectively and efficiently, and that the federal government eliminates sources of fear and other barriers that prevent immigrants from accessing government services available to them.
Yep. Now there's something important here, and that is that in the title it says our legal immigration system.
Right.
But if you read throughout the executive order, that is not what this is about.
Nope.
They conflate the benefits of legal immigration. They conflate that this country of immigrants has been a country of legal immigrants. And then what they do is they interject illegal immigrants to be the same as legal immigrants.
It is sneaky.
And somehow, if you are not a fan and advocate of illegal immigration, you are somehow against every immigrant that ever came to America.
Or refugee too, because they're going to put them all together too. Right. Same thing. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting too. Maybe they were trying to sneak in the illegal immigration stuff into this rather than just, it sounds like, the title, as you say, says legal, but all over it on the inside of it,
right,
you're going to find illegal.
Right, and they use the term newest Americans. So we always hear new Americans, and that is also intentionally a confusing term, because you could say, oh, a new American, they just got their citizenship.
Right.
That's not what they're talking about.
No.
They're just talking about someone who got into the country, whether legal or illegal. And the newest Americans are the ones that just got here.
Right.
Like, they're still scuffed up because they fell off the fence coming across.
They're still doing that right now as we speak.
Those are the newest Americans.
Now, you have to watch the language in these things, too. Let's look at another one of these slides and see what it says on this one, too. The Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall identify barriers that impede access to immigration benefits and fair, efficient adjudications of these benefits, and make recommendations on how to remove these barriers. Well, speaking of removing barriers, they are not finishing the wall down in the Rio Grande Valley, so people are pouring across right now, and Border Patrol is completely overwhelmed. And we will talk about that, believe me, on another program, because that is a whole nother topic.
Right. And the barriers they're talking about are not just the physical barrier, but simply saying, show us your ID.
Right.
Are you a felon? Just the normal things that you would expect to anticipate when you want to be an immigrant.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all true.
All right, next graphic up. This executive order will eliminate barriers in and otherwise improve the existing naturalization process, including by conducting a comprehensive review of that process with particular emphasis on the N-400 application, fingerprinting, background and security checks, interviews, civics and English language tests, and the oath of allegiance. Keep in mind, folks, look at that list.
Yep.
They want to eliminate. They say that a barrier is an oath of allegiance. A barrier is an interview. A barrier is a security check. A barrier is the English language.
That's
a barrier is having to have fingerprints.
Yeah, right. It's silly. It seems to me that I think that the Biden administration assumes that all immigration is going to vote Democrat. I think if they at all thought that the immigrants were going to vote Republican, that Biden would have Harris on the border wall, like building the wall, building it up, you know. So that is the end game of all of this, getting rid of those barriers, like the old.
And do it as fast as possible.
Right.
Because all of these people, they want to vote in the 2022 election.
They want to, sneak them in, but it's not very sneaky right now. And it's really interesting because it's not very transparent on the border right now. All of a sudden, people are not allowed to see anything.
Right.
So.
Last graphic. We've got just a few seconds left here, and they're going to revoke the presidential memorandum of 2019, and that is basically just saying that they have legal responsibilities.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
this is just consistent. I mean, I got to hand it to Joseph Robinette. He's consistent. He's destroying America.
Join us
Destroying
next time.
America.
It's all true. Next time we will have another in-studio guest, and we will also review people's talking about the $2 billion and what to do with it. That'll be tomorrow. Join us then.
Goodbye, America. Goodbye.
It's a maelstrom.